Welcome to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we'll feature business and community leaders sharing their stories, initiatives, concerns, and passions. Learn practical information regarding community resources and opportunities. Now, the host of Business Voice, Greece Regional Chamber President and CEO, Sarah Lentini.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Genesee Regional Bank, GRB. I'm delighted to welcome in studio with me right now Michael Pulver, who is Residential Mortgage Manager and Senior Vice President for GRB, along with Laura Smith, who's Affinity Banking Specialist also for GRB, Genesee Regional Bank. Welcome both, Mike and Laura.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're delighted. So,
we're excited.
Folks that maybe have listened to the show before over time may recognize your names and may have heard you talk a little bit about the bank and your roles before. But for anybody new who's listening in, maybe we could start by asking you to tell us a little bit about GRB for starters, and maybe I'll start with you, Mike.
Sure.
Genesee Regional Bank is based right here in Monroe County, right?
We are. We're right. Our headquarters is in Brighton, right on South Winton Road.
Nice.
We have been in business since 1996. We're a local community bank, and we provide retail banking, commercial banking, and mortgage banking.
So it kind of covers the gamut, doesn't it? It probably doesn't leave anything out, does it?
It really does. I mean, we're a locally based community bank, and we do have branches also in Greece and Pittsford, but a good chunk of our employees work right in our Brighton home office.
Yeah, which is beautiful. I know that it's a relatively new corporate headquarters. It's quite lovely, I think it. It's a great place for us, the Greece Regional Chamber, to come and to visit. And I think on occasion we've even used your facility for some events and also partnered with you on some events. Really quite lovely. Right. And very convenient, right off the highway. And you actually, speaking of new facilities, you have a new facility in Greece as well, don't you?
Correct. Yes, we opened up the new branch about a month ago. And it's right on Ridge Road. It's a beautiful branch.
It is.
Easy to find, great park. It's just a super facility for us.
Yeah, right on West Ridge Road, and you're right by Kohl's, I think it is, right? That
Correct.
Might be a good landmark for people in the area. And you had a branch in Greece all along, but this is your new location. And the Greece Regional Chamber was really delighted to be able to join you in the ribbon cutting for that. And really lovely. And, of course, as always, I think I said it at the ribbon cutting. The facility is beautiful. The facilities are beautiful, but at the end of the day, it is the people that really make the institution and make the bank what it is. And we've always found you as an entire team to be very warm and welcoming, and that's fantastic. So I want to talk a little bit because you guys you're in that residential space, right?
Yes, we are.
So that means a lot of people listening are going to find what you deal with day in and day out quite relevant.
Right.
Because pretty much all of us either are in a home or want a home or maybe knew somebody who had a home. I'm kind of kidding because it is still it is kind of the great American dream. When you're starting out, you get out of college, you're getting your first paycheck, you're starting to save your pennies. Typically that is the thing that you're thinking about, that at some point you want to own your own home. So tell us how people might go about that. And can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in residential real estate here in the Rochester region as well? And whichever one of you wants to answer.
Sure, I'll start and I'll let Laura chime in as well. But, first and foremost, it is a great time to buy a house right now. And the reason why I say that is interest rates are still at historic lows.
Oh, really?
So very, very low rate environment. And in regards to the amount of mortgage programs that are out there today, particularly for first-time home buyers, there's so many different programs and options out there to minimize your out-of-pocket expense, reduce your closing costs. Get into homes very inexpensively. It's just a fantastic time to buy a house. And that being said, Rochester is still one of the most affordable places to live, particularly when you look at owning versus renting. Long-term investing and owning a home is the way to go.
Yeah, in fact, I remember, I may have told you this before, but I moved into the area in 1990, and coming from another part of New York State, downstate, not New York City per se, although I've lived there as well, but that really gives you perspective. Because you come here to Rochester, and I went, wow, first of all, what amazing housing stock. All kinds of houses, Frank Lloyd Wright-inspired homes. Some of them might actually be some. I think we have some genuine Frank Lloyd Wright homes in the area, just as an example. Lots of homes from the Victorian era, the Edwardian era, the early 20s, kind of the whole gamut. And then some great modern homes as well, and more that's coming online every day. I don't think people realize, if you're not, maybe you've lived here all your life, I don't think people realize just what amazing housing options we have. And then the prices were so attractive, especially coming from downstate. I was just blown away. So, and if the interest rate is good on top of that, it's been a long time. I'm not paying that much attention these days. Sure. What are the interest rates for buying a home at this point?
I'll let Laura give you an update on that.
Sure. So there's so many different types of mortgage programs that we really like to try and tailor the mortgage program to the customer. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're using a grant program, your interest rate may be somewhere around 4.75 to 5% on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. If you've already owned a home and you're buying the next home, maybe your interest rate might be slightly different. So they vary based on what type of borrower it is, what type of loan amount, the size of your down payment, your credit score, lots of different variables. But, if you can get a 30-year fixed rate at around 4.75%, historically it's a fantastic interest rate and a great time to buy.
Yeah, that sounds like a great interest rate. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the interest rate when I bought my home.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it was a little higher. Yeah. And I think at the time I thought it was good, but this sounds even better. And that actually brings up an interesting point. There might be a lot of people listening who already own a home, but maybe interest rates are considerably lower than they were when they purchased. And I have this, memory rattling around in the back of my brain, and I don't know if this is still true, but when I was, paying more attention, as I said, I thought that if interest rates went 2 points below what they were when you originally, took out your mortgage, that you really might want to think about refinancing. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
What are the indicators that you might want to refinance?
That's one reason to look at a refinance, but we're finding a lot of customers today have many different types of reasons to refinance, whether it's reducing their interest rate or shortening their term, or maybe they have kids knocking on the door of college like I do, and we're thinking about maybe pulling some equity out through a refinance or a home equity, consolidating some debt. So if you're a homeowner and you have a low mortgage balance, but you have some debt that you want to consolidate, it's sometimes a good idea to refinance and include all that debt into one manageable, affordable payment. So there's so many different reasons why people choose to refinance. Interest rate is one of them, but really it depends on the customer's individual requirements and situation. Sometimes we'll sit across from a customer and we'll say, based on what your goals are, it just doesn't make sense for you to refinance. And we're happy to give that feedback to the customer, because now we know that we've really sat with them, we've listened to them, we know what their goals are, and we're not going to push them into a product that's not the right fit.
Having said that, if somebody still had quite a lot of time to go on a mortgage, and the interest rates are considerably less than when they originally took out a loan, it still might make sense to at least take a look at that.
Absolutely.
Because it could really make a difference in what they end up paying, not just every month, but what they end up paying over the course of the loan. Could come down.
Yeah.
And maybe they can even build up equity a little bit faster. And just, because equity is one of those kind of, jargony words that's specific to your business. So the more you are paying down on your loan, right? And the more you actually have an actual ownership in the home, right?
Yes.
That money that you've put in is the equity side, right?
Absolutely.
And you could conceivably...
It's what you own of it.
It's what you own of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's conceivably what you could also borrow against.
Absolutely.
Or even, you said, take out of,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm just trying to... So I know a lot of people, for example, that have used... I think this is still happening, right? Let's say you bought your home and you couldn't afford that pool
Yes.
when you first bought your house. But you really wanted one,
Yeah.
but you were already kind of scraping, right? When you were putting together the deal, and that was, enough.
Right.
But then time goes on, and your mortgage payment is static, and that's good. If you went with a fixed 30-year loan, let's say, and then maybe you got a couple raises, maybe a couple people in the household got a couple of raises, and you suddenly have a little bit more money, and you're breathing a little bit better, and the kids are still around, and you want to create a way to have vacations at home. I'm just this is all suppositional, of course. And then, and then maybe you can take a look, because you put some money into the house. You could take a look at what is the vehicle? Is it like a?
It's like a home equity loan or home equity line of credit. So there's really two ways you can pull cash out of your equity. The first way would be through a refinance, and then the second way is through a home equity line of credit. And some people will choose to do a home equity line of credit. Maybe they need to build an addition or make a renovation to their home, or maybe their bathrooms are outdated or their kitchen is outdated, and they can now borrow against the equity that they have in their home and use that. And they can borrow at a great rate, and sometimes that the payments that they make, the interest payments, sometimes are tax deductible. They can check with their accountant to see if they're eligible for that. But it's a great way to borrow money at a great interest rate and use that money for things that you need.
Right. And then if you were doing sort of the pool, you'd be actually investing and potentially expanding the value of the property at the same time. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So you're really underscoring something I think people don't really necessarily think about, which is that investment in your home that you made is actually potentially a financial vehicle that you could look at for many things. And you're making a very good point, which is if you borrowed against, if you used your home and your mortgage loan as a vehicle for borrowing, and you're paying, would you say, really good interest rates,
Correct.
Obviously varying depending on the way something is structured, you're probably going to get a much better interest rate than if you just took out a loan.
Oh, personal loan will be much more expensive. Yeah, personal loan, your interest rate would probably be somewhere over 9%, 10%, where a home equity line of credit, depending on credit score and depending on the value of the home and what your current mortgage balance is, you'd probably be paying somewhere around 6 to 7%. So it's lower.
So absolutely worth looking at.
Yeah.
And you guys would sit down, and that's what you do, right? If somebody
what we do is we sit down with people and really want to provide a consultation to them, and really taking a look at what is the value of their home today, what type of work do they want to do, what's it going to cost to do that, what are the different rate options. Do they want a 30-year, a 15-year? Going back to just how competitive and how low rates are right now. I mean, for a traditional refinance on a 30-year fixed-rate loan, rates are still in the mid-4s. And I think that there's certainly rates have gone up a little bit since last year, but historically, still incredibly low.
And at least for the foreseeable future, should be fairly stable from what I thought I heard something out of the corner of my consciousness that was being talked about at the federal level.
I think that there's certainly, for those that, follow what the Federal Reserve does, they've talked about going rates a bit, but that really has had little to no impact on mortgage rates. And really for the balance of this year, we're expected to be in a fairly flat, stable rate environment.
And the other thing that I've been hearing consistently for the last, year or two, I trust it's still true, please tell us, is that this is a great time to sell a home. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. The average price in the Greater Rochester area, based on the data that we get from the Greater Rochester Association of Realtors, home prices were up about 7 to 8% last year. So they've actually gone up. I mean, part of that is because it is a great time to sell your home. The inventory of homes, the amount of homes that have actually been on the market are down from this time last year. So there's not as much to look at. We do expect that to increase. Typically in the spring, as we get closer, the listings begin to increase, and really from typically March until June is when there's a very high amount of activity going on at that point.
And then, of course, construction, right?
Yeah.
And are construction starts, or is construction booming?
Last year, so new construction sales were up last year close to 13 to 14%. Wow. So a very a good
healthy
increase, healthy increase, and frankly, I think folks that are considering purchasing a new home, depending upon where they live, looking at building. It's different for everyone. Needs to review if it's the right thing for them to do. Building a home is going to cost a little bit more, but then you have to keep in mind that everything's new. You're not paying for new appliances again. Everything in that home, you're not going to have to replace for some time. So there's pros and cons to both.
Right, and you're getting what you want.
Correct.
Presumably.
Correct.
You have the benefit of really putting together all of the requirements that you have can be met in a home.
Yeah.
So if you're just joining us, you're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Genesee Regional Bank, GRB. And I'm talking today with Mike Pulver, as well as Laura Smith of Genesee Regional Bank. They've been with us before, and they're talking to us a little bit about the residential real estate market, which, of course, is something that's important to all of us, and especially if you're thinking about either buying or selling a home, and I know many of us are. So as you're looking across the landscape, because you lend, in the region,
we do.
Are there... are things about the same from one part of the region to the other? Are there trends that you see that are specific to one area?
I would say, the trend that exists right now, and each neighborhood, each town has a different supply-demand going on within that town. But right now, homes that are priced less than around $200,000 seem to be moving the fastest, where there's many offers on those homes. But one of the things that I really want to reinforce, going back to my original comment that it's a great time to buy, is particularly for those folks that are buying their first home. This past year, GRB was involved in a program where we partnered with the Federal Home Loan Bank of New York. And the program is called the First Home Club program.
Nice.
And it was a great program where folks that qualified for the program, for every dollar they saved, the Federal Home Loan Bank would give them up to a max of $7,500. And we at the bank, we have over 160 people enrolled in that program that are buying homes this year. The Federal Home Loan Bank just announced that they're going to modify that program for 2019. They're actually changing the name of it. So it's going to be called the Home Buyer Dream Program.
Okay.
And the program is going to allow for grants up to $15,000 for first-time home buyers. So it's going to be a fantastic program. GRB is excited to partner with the Federal Home Loan Bank of New York, and we think it's going to make a real positive impact on real estate sales this year.
Well, it sounds pretty phenomenal already, right? If I heard you correctly, so for every dollar that you save or you contribute, it's not just matched?
Yeah, so the way the program worked in the past, that there was a matching funds program. So that program is actually going to sunset at the end of March.
Okay.
So coming in the summer of this year is the new program, the Home Buyer Dream Program, where you only need $1,000 saved to get up to potentially $15,000.
Wow.
And the 10-month savings period is waived, which really allows us to help more first-time home buyers achieve that American dream of homeownership for 2019.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And is that available to, do you have to live in a particular part of the region? You have to. Is it for both city and county?
Anywhere in New York State.
Oh, wow.
There are a couple of eligibility requirements which we'll help our customers with, but the Rochester area is a fascinating place to become a homeowner because for first-time buyers, there's the Home Buyer Dream program that's rolling out. It's a grant up to $15,000. If you work for the U of R, you can get the 333 grant, which is a $9,000 grant.
Wow.
If you buy a house in the city, you may be eligible for the city's $3,000 grant. If you buy a house in the county, which would be the towns surrounding the city, Gates, Greece, Irondequoit, they've got a grant up to $8,000. So it's a really exciting time to purchase in Rochester as a first-time buyer. And you think, gosh, I need to save all this money so I can buy a house. You really don't. You really just have to navigate and figure out, how do I tap into all of this grant money that's available? And my best suggestion would be just give GRB a call. We'd be happy to point you in the right direction, sit down with you, determine if you're eligible, and then help you apply for that wonderful grant money for down payment and closing costs.
Yeah, it's amazing what you're talking about. I don't think any of that existed when I was buying my first home.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, wistful.
Yeah.
But so calling the bank is great.
Yep.
Should people ask for you, Laura? I mean, I always like to connect with a human being, right?
They can ask for Mike Pulver, and Mike Pulver or myself can point them in the right direction. If we have a customer that lives in a particular area, maybe it would be a good fit to introduce them to a loan officer that's familiar with their area and familiar with the grants in that area.
Okay. So Laura Smith, Mike Pulver, both of you are perfect resources for anybody who might want to have a conversation about buying a home, selling a home, refinancing a home, home equity, building a home, first-time home buying, and all the resources that are available.
Yeah.
We're going to have your phones ringing off the hook. You know that, right? But you're willing to. People don't have to have a game plan already in their heads. They can come in and say, "I'm just interested." Right? Would you be willing to sit down with me and talk with me a little bit about this because I want to know more?
Yeah, it's very overwhelming to take that first step and make that first call. Because people often with their first home, they're not quite sure what to do first. And we love an opportunity to sit down and just have a conversation. We pull a credit report. We look at your pay stubs. We calculate your income. We talk a little bit about what is your comfort level for a mortgage payment. Where do you think you want to buy? What type of home are you thinking about that would meet the needs of your family? There's so many questions that we have to make sure that we're really recommending the right mortgage product for that customer. So it's an honor to be able to sit down with them and be, a financial partner to help them with the biggest financial transaction of their life, their mortgage.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. It's great to know that you're a phone call away, or what is your phone number, by the way? And how else can people reach out to you? You have a web address, a phone number?
Both Laura and I are on the GRB website. My cell phone's 585-802-6527, available 24/7. You can reach out anytime. And I think that's one of the things that, going back to Laura's comment about meeting with people one-on-one, having a consultation. We meet with people on nights, weekends. Sometimes you just can't get off of work, or you've got other commitments. So we want people to know that are listening today that we're available to meet with them when it's convenient for them.
That's such an important point. Yeah, I do think the majority of people are not really. It's not, especially to have the kind of conversation that is maybe a little complicated and in depth. Even if you have a lunch hour, is that really comfortable enough, long enough? Yeah. And especially if you've got a little travel time to build in as well. So you'll come to them after work, weekends. Can't be more available than that. And and then all kinds of great resources they can tap. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Genesee Regional Bank, GRB. And I'm Sarah Lentini. Here with Mike Pulver and Laura Smith of Genesee Regional Bank, talking about the residential real estate market here in the greater Rochester region. Now, you guys do more than just residential mortgages, and then you may have some other products that tie into even the mortgage products that you offer. Can you talk a little bit about what else you guys have?
Sure, I'll let Laura take that.
Sure. So Genesee Regional Bank has some really great mortgage products, but we also have really great banking products. Many people come to us for mortgages, and they don't always know that we are a full-service retail bank. So we like to talk with them about their banking relationship and say to them, our customers love us. When they call, we answer the phone.
Yep.
We don't get stuck in a dial situation where you have to press 17 numbers on your phone to get to a live person. We actually answer the phone. So we have a really high-touch philosophy with customer service from the mortgage side, but also from the retail banking side. And we always like to encourage people to think about their banking relationship. What do you like about your banking relationship? Do you have a banking relationship? Sure, you may have a checking account and you may have everything direct deposited and automatic pay through auto pay, but do you know your banker? If you have a problem, do you know how to reach out to your banker? Do you know that your banker will meet with you and help you solve that problem? And so with our high-touch customer service focus, we're just trying to share with more and more customers that we have great retail checking account products. Because we're a local bank, all of the money that is deposited with GRB, whether it be in checking accounts, savings accounts, money markets, that money is reinvested into the Rochester market.
That's really good to know.
It's really important. We don't reinvest it in another state. We don't put our name on a football stadium in another state. We actually reinvest it here locally in Rochester. So when we do mortgage applications, we always look at bank statements and we say, are you paying any fees? Sometimes people really don't pay attention. Money goes in and money goes out, and they don't really analyze their bank statements. But is there an ATM fee? Why are you paying ATM fees to access your own money? GRB can help you with that.
Right.
We have a great Allpoint network where you have access to 100,000 ATMs across the United States, and you will not pay an ATM fee.
Wow.
We have a great rewards checking account where we pay 2% interest on the checking account.
Oh, that's great.
Which is almost unheard of.
It's more than my savings account was earning a couple of years ago, right?
That's right. We don't make you jump through 17 hoops to earn that 2% interest. It's just a checking account. You just have to use it. Have to have 12 transactions a month, which is really easy to do. And then we'll pay you 2% on your balances. So when we talk about mortgages and we talk about lending, we also talk about making sure that we're educating our customer to say, if you're paying a $12 service fee every month just to have a checking account, consider GRB. We'd love to have a conversation with you. We'd love to help you with your banking relationship so that you have a great resource and that you have contact within a bank so that if you need something, you know who to call, and we're here to help you with that.
That's great, Laura. That's great. You mentioned reinvesting, and it made me think about another area that people might or might not know about you, and that is the way in which you partner with and support the community, and that could be the nonprofit community, and it could be other aspects of the community. I know, for example, that for the last 10 years. GRB was the founding and continuous presenting sponsor of the Chamber's Small Business Awards program, for which we're very grateful. I know you guys are huge champions of small business, which we really appreciate, as does the membership. But I know that's probably just the tip of the iceberg, because you guys are community players in a very real sense. So tell us a little bit about that, would you?
Employees at GRB love to volunteer. We participate in a lot of different volunteer opportunities, whether it's working with Lollipop Farm or going down to serve breakfast down at the Open Door Mission at 6 a.m. on a dark Tuesday morning. We have employees.
Sounds like personal experience.
We have employees that are thrilled to do that. Yeah, it's a really nice feeling giving back to the community. You can't quite measure how good you feel after giving back, and GRB really supports not only the bank giving back in the Rochester area, but the employees of the bank all get really excited at these wonderful volunteer opportunities. And it just allows us to create more relationships and meet more people and really, really make a difference in Rochester. Yep. Sure, we love to do mortgages, and sure, we love to open up checking accounts, but you can't really replicate the feeling that you get when you give back and you know that you've really made a difference.
Yeah. And there is, there's a lot to be said for that personal touch that you were talking about. I was saying to some folks in the office just this week that, one of the really sad things from my perspective about where we are in this day and age is that there are a lot of companies, sometimes the biggest companies with the biggest staffs, right, are the ones where you can't get a human being on the phone. And it is so frustrating, and especially if it happens to be a complicated issue that you're dealing with, a sensitive issue, and even more so if you happen to be somebody who's not particularly comfortable navigating the internet, then it's really painful. Really painful to try to, just to do sort of the routine things like accessing your checking account, right, or asking questions about your credit card. One of the things that we pride ourselves on, we're a tiny staff with the Grease Chamber, right? We're not huge, but we bring to the table, just for starters, is service. I can't guarantee you that we answer every single phone call, but I would say, 95 to 98% of the phone calls that come in are answered by a human being.
Wonderful.
And and then we take it from there. And it is that personal touch is. I think it's so rare that it's a way actually to distinguish yourself. And I think it's, at the end of the day, I think it's what we all would like is to be talking to a person and not a recording. So those recordings that can go on forever, by the way. So kudos, kudos to you. And then half the time they don't have the choice you want anyway, right? And I was noticing the other day that you can't, in some companies, you can't even hit zero. You used to be able to kind of cheat. And you could hit zero, and you'd end up with some sort of a live body. Right. And increasingly, you can't do that anymore. Yeah. That just sort of boots you right out of the system. Like, really? Yeah. Okay. So, as you look to the future, and as you kind of look over the next 12 months, I know that you've already had some pretty exciting stuff happen at GRB, right? And of course, the new branch location that's right on West Ridge Road, right by. Help me, Coles. In Greece is one, certainly, and we're delighted that you've now got a full 10 years under your belts as the presenting sponsors of the Small Business Awards, and I know that you're moving forward with the 11th. Thank you guys so much. So that's going to be coming up in the fall, and you're wonderful partners in that. And you already have that brand new spanking new corporate headquarters in Brighton, right? Was it Brighton?
1850 Winton Road in Brighton.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Right off the expressway.
Right off the expressway. Do you have other stuff, or are you taking a little breather and just focusing on customer service and anything that you think that folks might want to be aware of? Any events, any home buyers events, especially given everything we talked about? Do you do any places that people might want to plug in?
So, the banking landscape has changed so much in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be that you would cash your paycheck on Friday, you would go to the bank, you would stand in line, you would cash your paycheck, you would pay your bills, you were in a bank every week.
Mm-hmm.
Today's banking landscape is so different because everything has become very heavily electronic. So direct deposits, auto pay, you can actually go for years without ever stepping foot into your bank branch.
Mm-hmm.
So for all of our partners at the Grease Chamber, we'd love an opportunity for you to stop by and say hello to our new Grease branch on West Ridge Road in the Coles Plaza. Stop in, sit down. We don't operate like a traditional bank branch. There's no teller line, but we have some really nice, comfy sofas and a nice flat screen TV. And sometimes people just stop in because it's a new location, but we'd really love to be able to talk with Grease Chamber members about what we can help them do with their banking relationship and see if there's some opportunity there to just enlighten them that we've got some great products, we've got great mortgages, we've got great retail banking checking accounts. I don't think anybody out there is paying 2% on their checking accounts. So for people who are looking to earn that higher bit of interest, our reward checking account paying 2% is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. It really is. Yeah.
We have really strong partnerships with our local real estate agents and builders, and we are constantly doing first-time homebuyer presentations on different days and different weeks, in the evening, on the weekend. So I think they're all individually done through partnerships with real estate agents and loan officers. But if anyone would like to learn about some of those events, they can certainly reach out to us on our website or with a phone call, and we'd be happy to point them in the right direction. And
is the web address grbbank.com?
There's 2 B's. grbbank.com.
So it's sort of counterintuitive, right? But it's grbbank.com.
That's right.
grbbank.com. Who's going to forget it now? So, speaking of branches and partnerships, just 2 last things before we let you go. One is, so the Greece branch, which is great, is one of your branches. But what about the corporate headquarters? Is that also a branch?
So the corporate, yes, it is. So it is a full-service branch. There is an ATM that's there as well. And what's nice about that particular branch is not only can you do traditional banking there as well, there's 2 tellers there, there's people, there's personal bankers there that can really kind of sit down with you and kind of talk through your banking relationship. Obviously, certainly we'd welcome the chance to we can open an account there as well. People can withdraw funds, but if they can also talk to other members of our banking team, including commercial, mortgage, and so forth, and it's all under one roof.
Yeah, and also nice couches, big screen.
Absolutely.
Even bigger.
That's the way to go.
Yes,
nice
that's the way to go.
And big
water,
screens.
coffee.
Yeah, water, coffee.
Coffee, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then we've also got our Pittsford Plaza branch right across from the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone knows where the Cheesecake Factory is in Pittsford. We're right across the street on Monroe Avenue.
Wonderful. And then the one that's in Brighton, that's the corporate headquarters as well. What is that considered? I know it's like a whole. You're like the first thing you see when you come off what exit. I don't even know what exit it is. Is that the Winton Road exit?
Yeah, it's the Winton Road
exit
off of 590. So it's exit 1. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you can see your sign, the bank building, and the name right as you're coming off the exit, which is very convenient.
You can see it at night when you're driving by.
Very nice.
You can't miss it.
Talk about great positioning.
Yes.
And before I let you guys go, I just want to say one more thing, and that is that I think the Chamber did a program recently that was focused on financial resources for business, and actually Chris Kiley from your bank, from Genesee Regional Bank, was on our panel. But we had a couple of other panelists as well, and one of them was Virginia Smith. No relation, right?
No relation.
I didn't think so, but I thought I'd ask. Virginia Smith from the Small Business Administration, who actually made a point of saying what great partners you guys are. Obviously, they partner with others, but I think you guys have the distinction of really being, having perhaps generated more loans, more small business administration activity in the region.
We just received a very nice award from the SBA.
Yes. So kudos to you, because that's, that means that you're really trying to cover all the bases. Yeah. Obviously, we tried to cover a lot of bases here today as well, to give a sense of just sort of the range of products, both in residential real estate as well as beyond, and also the range of reasons, types of people that might, really want to talk to you a little bit, and the range of reasons that you might want to explore the residential mortgage side as a vehicle for not just buying a house, but also creating perhaps some financial strength in your portfolio that you hadn't been thinking about. Right. So I want to thank you both so much for joining me
Thanks
here.
Thanks for letting us be here.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Michael Pulver, Laura Smith, Genesee Regional Bank, grbbank.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to them, and as they've said, they're happy to come to you, so can't ask for something more convenient than that. Thank you both for being here on Business Voice. Okay, stick around. We're going to be right back with my next guest from Bryant Stratton College.
You're listening to the voice of liberty.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, FM 95.5 Spencerport, and WYSL1040.com everywhere.
Depositing your money with Genesee Regional Bank helps strengthen the local community. That's because GRB lends its deposits to local businesses and individuals so they can grow and prosper. From your favorite bakery to your family dentist to the technology company where your neighbor works, to helping families buy a home. That keeps Rochester rock solid. Become a GRB client today. Genesee Regional Bank. Community banking, community building.
Visit grbbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 417491.
If you're looking for an opportunity to play a vital role in the fast-growing field of healthcare, then consider earning a degree in medical reimbursement and coding from Bryant Stratton College. With curriculum built around the same standards and software used in the industry, you'll graduate with the skills and confidence needed to sit for key certification exams required by employers. And this program is now offered in a new blended learning format, combining the best of instructor-led face-to-face classroom instruction with virtual learning, giving you the flexibility to earn your degree in a way that best suits your schedule and life. Plus, thanks to Career Life Prep, you'll have a team to help chart your path. Learn the soft skills employers are looking for, gain valuable professional connections, and enjoy career services support for life. Classes start this May, so learn more about a career in medical reimbursement and coding today at bryantstratton.edu. Bryant Stratton College, for every and in life. For important information and disclosures, please visit bryantstratton.edu/disclosures. Bryant Stratton College complies with applicable state authorization regulations for distance education in all other states.
AVO Resource Solutions LLC offers non-medical private personal care for seniors, adults, and children with varying levels of functioning ability and needs, including in-home personal care, household chores, transportation, and companion service at any time of day. The hands-on care provided by AVO's teams of professional, certified, reliable, trustworthy, and well-trained in-home aides allows family members to experience a better quality of life and to live independently in the comfort of their own homes. Call AVO Resource Solutions LLC at 585-851-8114 or visit AVOResourceSolutionsLLC.com.
If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Genesee Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Genesee to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we're better together, and together, we're moving business forward. Visit greasechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today.
Depositing your money with Genesee Regional Bank helps strengthen the local community. That's because GRB lends its deposits so the community can grow and prosper. Genesee Regional Bank. Community banking, community building.
Visit grbbank.com. Member FDIC.
More than 20,000 watts of truth. WYSL AM 1040, FM 92.1 and 95.5 West.
Welcome back. I'm Sarah Lentini, and you're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Genesee Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Genesee Regional Bank. I'm delighted to welcome my next guests right here in studio. From Bryant Stratton College, we have Mike Mariani, who is the campus director for Bryant Stratton's campuses in Genesee and Henrietta, and we're joined by Rob Kopacz, Career Services Director for Bryant Stratton College as well. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We're delighted. So Bryant Stratton is sort of a fixture in the community. Been around for a while, right? So, in fact, how old is Bryant Stratton College?
So Bryant Stratton College is quite old, actually. We started in 1854.
Wow.
And an interesting fact: this May will be the celebration of our 165th year.
Oh, congratulations. That is an enormous milestone.
Yeah, so
that's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. So we've been around for quite some time. So we like to refer to ourselves as a career college. Mm-hmm. So we've been preparing students for their careers for quite some time.
Obviously. 165, did you say?
165 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're proud of the fact that we still kind of conduct business the way that we started, right, relative to preparing students for their careers. One of the things that recently changed, probably within the last year or two, is something that we now market and call our Career Life Prep experience. And the Career Life Prep experience is interesting because it's a set of experiences that our students go through from the very beginning of their experience relative to inquiry and coming in and meeting with someone to find out whether or not the college is a good fit for them through the process. So I just want to take just a minute to talk a little bit about what that looks like. So Our students that inquire actually have the opportunity to come in and meet with an admissions representative.
So this is before they're even enrolled?
This is before they're even enrolled.
Okay.
So they come in and they sit down with an admissions representative, and the admissions representative's objective is to try to help that individual not only to determine whether or not Bryant Stratton College is the right fit for them, but whether or not we have a program that's going to offer them the career that they're looking for. So the career life prep process is broken down into 4 pieces. We call it Path, Pro, Plus, and Team. And the path is what we really just talked about. So each individual student gets a personal consultation with their admissions representative, and that's someone who will be with them not only at the time of enrollment, but all the way through the process while they're attending the college as well. And then we have the pro pillar that we like to call it, and that's an opportunity for the students to work with faculty, not just in a general education sense, but from a workplace competency perspective. So students come in and they meet with their instructors and they focus on their careers that they're interested in pursuing, but they learn workplace competencies, problem solving, collaboration and communication, so on and so forth. And we've gotten pretty good over the years at learning about what it takes for those students to learn the competencies necessary in the workplace, because we continuously work with employers the community to, through advisory boards and things like that, to determine what is the most up-to-date and current needs of our employers. Yeah, and a lot of times they tell us that it's not just the core competencies, because that's expected, right, based on the degrees that the students choose, but it's the soft skills. It's the workplace competencies that they're looking for. So we're pretty proud of that as well.
Yep. And what are soft skills for people that might be listening? Because that's that might not be something that somebody in the general listening audience would recognize. Sure, that's
an excellent question. So the soft skills are more along the lines of time management, for example, the ability to communicate clearly, the ability to get your point across sometimes in as few words as possible, and that relates back to even an interview, right? If a student is going out on an interview, setting themselves up for preparation relative to how to best go about conducting an interview, and that's part of what our career services department does with our students while they're with us as well.
And that's Rob, right?
Correct,
Rob Kopacz, who's joining us here in studio, who is the Career Services Director. That's really where you come in, correct?
That's correct, Sarah. With our department, we work closely with the students in the classroom as well as post-graduation as well.
So you're there beyond the original college experience.
Exactly. But as Mike was alluding to, the soft skills is something we focus on, particularly helping them with the interview process, helping them with resumes, matching with employers that are looking for students that have the right educational background, but also have the soft skills that they're looking for, to do the jobs. Right. One of the things that, as I've been meeting with employers in the marketplace, is that they find our students very well prepared from an educational standpoint, but they really appreciate the soft skills aspect that are taught and supported on the college that really makes our students stand out maybe from some other traditional college settings.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's been tremendous focus in recent years on those technical skills, on the math skills, the science skills, the applied skills, making sure that that folks are trained as they're coming out of college, high school and college for that matter. But increasingly, we at the Chamber are also hearing that employers are struggling a little bit because of the soft skills, because somebody may not know, they might know all that, all those other things, but that doesn't mean that they know how to answer a phone. It doesn't mean they know how to deal with a customer when he or she walks in the door. It doesn't mean that they have an understanding of what is sort of the correct way to address somebody and to adjust an interaction based on relationship, based perhaps on hierarchy, based on protocol. There are a lot of subtleties that are embedded in soft skills. They're kind of actually tricky to teach, which is why I think employers are so grateful if you are spending some time making sure that side of a student's training is addressed as well, because it's actually it would be an incredibly difficult thing to go back and address with somebody, if they didn't come with at least a modicum of understanding of those those skills and interactions.
Sure. So you mentioned the difficulty in teaching that, and we've spent a lot of time trying to figure out where to best teach that. And while it's throughout the curriculum, what we've learned is general education studies is not always the student's most favorite subject. Whether it's a psychology class or it's an English class or public speaking, but we've done a pretty good job embedding a lot of those soft skills into those courses and creating real-world experiences for the students to engage in, so they take a higher level of interest in those courses than they might have otherwise.
They totally get why it's relevant, because it's certainly coming through loud and clear that you're all about education, but you're also all about applied education, in a sense, about making sure that the education in the classroom is relevant to the career and the job that's hopefully waiting on the other side, and that you're there from the beginning when somebody comes to, even when somebody just comes to inquire about the college, all the way through to beyond, to post-graduation, where you're really trying to help folks get in careers and be successful in careers. So do you track any of that? Do you have a sense of efficacy? Are there a number of employers that you're working with? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, obviously we want our students to come to our school for a reason. They want a career. They don't want a job. They're looking to, redefine who they are, have an outcome that is, commensurate to what their education is. And that's something we work very closely with the students on, doing mock interviews, bringing in employers from outside the community to come into this school, meet with the students before they actually graduate to understand what they're going to be looking for upon their graduation. We also work with employers to provide internships for all of our students. So before graduating, every student is required to do an internship within their field. So it does two things. One, it allows the students to fully understand what they're getting into. And two, it gives an opportunity for the employer to vet out a student before hiring them and getting them prepared, making sure their soft skills are in line to what their company values are. So it's a really good process that we go through. And, if we just talk about measuring and outcomes, every one of our students has a counselor that supports them along the way. They work very closely with our career services team to help them. We have to have a resume on file for each student. We have to make sure that they complete all their coursework in a timely manner. We make sure that they, apply for jobs and that they're prepared for the jobs that they apply for. So they come in, they sit down with us, we help them with their resumes, we help them locate potential employers in the marketplace, and we try to find a fit for everyone. Everyone has different skill sets, different strengths, and it's matching the right skill set and strengths with the right employers. So we're always looking for employer relationships.
And I'm just going to say, because the Greece Regional Chamber is lucky enough to have a Bryant Stratton intern placed with us right now. Great experience, wonderful student. And I would add one more benefit that I hope that our intern, Matt, is hopefully finding, and that is that by being with the Greece Chamber through this internship, I think he's able to also make some connections. Certainly at the Chamber, that might be easier perhaps, but we've got lots of events that bring together member businesses, member organizations. We have nonprofits, and obviously schools, like Bryant Stratton's a member as well. And it's a great opportunity for an intern, a student, to get exposed to a whole bunch of people that could turn into a potential employer.
And relative to the opportunities and exposure that when you mentioned that, I thought of something else that I think is important to mention. And so we're always looking for opportunities, not only for our students, but for others who might be interested at a lower level relative to education. So when we look at our high school students, we look at our juniors and seniors in our communities, and we also reach out to those individuals. And we have what we call a Jumpstart program. that we offer to our high school students, and that's an opportunity for our high school students to take some classes on our campus while they're in high school free of charge.
Oh, nice.
And those courses are, they vary. There's a variety of courses that we offer, but we do our best to try to get out into the high schools and disseminate that information for those who might be interested. And they can take a variety of different courses, and they can earn up to 21 college credits between their junior and senior year prior to even transitioning to whether it's Bryant Stratton or elsewhere. The courses are all transcriptable.
That's great.
So some bring them into Bryant Stratton and some take them elsewhere.
So this is open to any student in the region?
This is open to any junior and senior at any high school in the region that is interested in taking a course. And again, it's free of tuition charge. The only thing they pay for is their textbook.
Yeah,
and we
amazing.
offer courses in business. We offer general education courses. We might offer courses in paralegal. We might offer it depending on the semester.
Wow.
But absolutely something that we're proud of.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, I'm unaware of anybody else offering that. It sounds fantastic. I certainly would have wanted to take advantage of it if I were... if I were still a junior or a senior, those days are gone. That would be something that I'd be all over. So, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Genesee Regional Bank. We only have a few minutes left, but I just want to bring up a couple of points. I'm here with two gentlemen from Bryant Stratton College, Mike Mariani, who is the campus director for Greece and Henrietta for Bryant Stratton, and Rob Kopacz, career services director, and you've been hearing the conversation. Couple things. One is Bryant Stratton is a 4-year college, correct?
Bryant Stratton College is a 4-year college. We offer associate degrees, bachelor degrees, and diplomas.
Awesome. I say that because I'm not sure if everybody is aware of that. And then you're not actually just a Rochester corporation, correct?
That's correct.
That is correct.
You're fairly large, right? You're all over New York State and in some others?
We are. We're in New York State. We're in Virginia. We're in Ohio. We're in Wisconsin. And we also have an online division. We have 19 ground campuses and an online division. And our system office is in Buffalo, New York as well.
Yes.
Which is where the college started back in 1854.
1854. And then you've got a wonderful celebration, 165 years coming up.
165 years coming up this May.
And you've got a brand new basketball program?
That's right.
We do have a brand new basketball program. Their inaugural season was this past year, and now we are actually recruiting for and just hired a women's coach, and we're going to have a women's team in fall.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that, so thank you for sharing that with our listeners. Anything else that we should know about, and how do people reach you?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to reach us, our website is bryantstratton.edu. Again, our locations are in Greece and Henrietta, and all of that information relative to contact is on our website. And relative to phone numbers, the phone number at the Henrietta campus is 585-292-5627. And the Greece campus is 585-720-0660.
Awesome. Mike Mariani, campus director, Greece and Henrietta for Bryant Stratton College, and Rob Kopacz, career services director, Bryant Stratton College. Thank you both so much for being here today on Business Voice.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
That pretty much wraps up our show for today. You've been listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Genesee Regional Bank. And I want to thank our guests from Bryant Stratton College. We had Rob Kopacz, Career Services Director, and Mike Mariani, Campus Director. And also want to thank my guests from GRB, Mike Pulver and Laura Smith. They were talking to us about residential real estate and mortgages and banking services in general. So tune in again, and do check us out on the web, greecechamber.org, greecechamber.org. Thank you so much for listening to Business Voice.
You've been listening to Business Voice. The Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce serves businesses, nonprofits, and individuals throughout the region, focusing on promoting economic and community development and serving as the voice for business. The Chamber offers networking, education, advocacy, community events, and business services. It serves as an important platform for business leaders and citizens to come together in support of common goals.